I'm gonna make this brief because we have a hell of a video to go through, but I'm not really a movie enjoyer like that, despite some of my latest videos saying otherwise, and I'm more so just a casual moviegoer. And with that, I'll say that I am not even joking. This video that I'm about to cover is very easy to debunk, and it's probably not hard to see why.
Let's go!
The camera is at an angle. Hello everyone, Jester Bell aka Female Frodo Baggins here.
You sound like you don't even want to make this video, but you gotta make this video just to get your points in.
Since we've just had Halloween and now that we're coming into the fourth quarter, the biggest time of the year for movies.
I'll be honest, you should have made this video at the end of December, not in October or November.
And going into a 2026 that is going to be quite different, I thought it would be a good time to just express what I've been feeling this year reviewing movies. 2025 is the worst year for movies and movie watching that I have ever experienced in my life.
Well, no year is the worst year if you just look hard enough. And this especially goes for her because I am not even joking, most of her content basically surrounds Disney.
Now, when I was really little, my parents didn't take us to the movies as much. That's why it became such a novelty for me, because I didn't get to go so much when I was younger. But, you know, ever since more so in my teen years, I've just been an avid moviegoer and trying to check the box of all the big movies to see each year.
Huh, you mostly go for the big blockbusters. Maybe that's why you don't really like this year so much. But that's okay, I basically do the same thing. But the thing is, my channel isn't really movie-centric.
And each year, there would always be something for me. Not to say that there weren't years that disappointed in the past, but there would always be something. Even last year, even in like years prior, like 2023, the year of the strikes, that had stuff like Oppenheimer, for example, or 2024 had Dune Part 2, even though I think aspects of that film disappoint, but it had Dune Part 2 and The Wild Robot, a movie that I absolutely love. So there's always been a movie that came out in the theaters that was for me and that I absolutely loved.
You could love more movies in those said years if you just look more harder enough.
But 2025, like, sometimes, and I just learned not to listen to this, sometimes I get people like, you only give negative reviews towards movies, and it's like, well, that's because there has not been a single movie in the theaters this year that I've enjoyed. Now,
then watch more movies.
I want to give a caveat to that. I know that people bring up that a lot of people loved Sinners and Weapons. I have a little bit of a line in terms of like what I'm going to watch in theaters. Real ones will remember I didn't go see Deadpool and Wolverine because the humor was not my taste. Sinners and Weapons, there were a couple things in it that I thought I don't want to see that in the theater. I will probably watch them now that they're on streaming and I can skip through them, but that's another thing though.
So you, as a moviegoer, said that you didn't watch two of the most critically acclaimed movies of the year because it wasn't for you, and you're sitting here telling us that 2025 is the worst year for movies.
Ryuki, would you mind hitting her with a German suplex?
Later.
In the past, it used to be if there was a movie where maybe it's really good, but maybe the content isn't your taste or you're not comfortable with it, then there's something else for you, right? Just because like this horror film, like horror films are always going to be more niche. If this horror film is not for you, then something else will be. That's always been the way it was.
I'm just saying, you gotta watch more niche genres of movies if you want to take your movie critic queer more seriously. Because again, most of your content mostly surrounds Disney.
But this year, there's been nothing for me in the theater.
Then watch more movies. It's not that hard.
I know people in real life who just haven't even been to the theater this year because there's been nothing for them. And it's not even that there hasn't been a movie that I've particularly liked in the theaters this year. It's then just the magnitude of how bad the big tentpole films that were supposedly these big tentpole films have been.
Oh my fucking god, do I really need to say it? Then watch more movies.
This year kicked off with Captain America: Brave New World and Snow White and later the Minecraft movie. Like, even the films, and this has been a terrible year at the box office. There was recently an article that came out that said the October box office this year is the lowest it's been in 27 years, like not even considering inflation and excluding the pandemic. Like, it is insane how bad the box office has been.
So one bad month for the box office means the whole year is pretty shitty for the box office. Man, what am I even watching at this point?
But even the movies that have done well at the box office, it's like the Minecraft movie. Just awful. And then Lilo and Stitch live action that completely changed the ending and the point of that film. That's the highest grossing film of this year so far.
First of all, The Worst so far did some heavy carrying there. And second of all, if you didn't like what the blockbusters have to offer, I have a suggestion: watch more goddamn movies. Especially for the fact that you choose to ignore some of the more critically acclaimed movies of the year because, in your own words, it wasn't for you.
It's just crazy. And like, even the films that they said were better. Fantastic Four, I do not think is a good movie. It failed the Fantastic Four again. Superman, I think, is even worse than Fantastic Four. I think that Superman is an absolutely terrible film, even as the Superman fans were trying to defend it.
This is coming from the same woman who says that anyone who did not like the Superman movie didn't hate it enough. And also saying that James Gunn DC Universe is already dead.
But it's just like, everything this year has been a disaster. And one of the films that I was actually looking forward to because the trailers look good was Tron Ares.
I don't know about y'all, but Tron Ares always lost me as soon as I saw Jared Leto as the lead role for reasons I'm not going to go into. But hey, views are views, and that's how I saw it.
The trailers of that look good, and then we all know how that turned out. It's just been insane, like how nearly every single tentpole blockbuster that isn't horror has just become this disaster of quality this year.
Then watch more movies that isn't big blockbusters. This is like saying music today sucks because the Billboard Hot 100 music sucks. Like, no, music doesn't suck, just mainstream music sucks. Well, at least for you. For me, well, actually, I'm kind of the same path when it comes to mainstream music, but I think I made my point.
I have never lived through a year where there just hasn't been one movie in theaters that I've actually liked.
If your videos are mostly Disney related, I call that a scale issue.
I know I liked K-pop Demon Hunters, but that was streaming on Netflix, and even though I liked K-pop Demon Hunters, and I think it's a great movie, I don't think that I've been as involved with the mania behind that as other people are. And that's okay. It's okay if you like something, but it's not necessarily your new mania. But like, that was a streaming movie.
K-pop Demon Hunters was actually put into theaters because of the success of that movie, but I digress.
It has just been so bad this year.
In your own bubble.
But this time, this article finally acknowledged, hey guys, a lot of these films that have been coming out haven't been resonating with audiences, which I guess is a nice way of saying they're trash and audiences don't like them.
You just figure that out, Sherlock? Get the man a cigar!
Yeah, there aren't a lot of films out there that resonate with audiences. And I want to just say, like, on Disney's angle, a big part of it is that they are behind on the times and they're, like, desperately trying to catch up.
We just throwing shit at the wall at this point.
They thought a lot of this way of thinking and a lot of their version of progressivism was going to be really popular, but it's not. So they have to put out all these films that they had in the works that were going to follow that. Like, Captain America Brave New World was originally supposed to be a very, very politically charged film.
It still is. Matter of fact, Captain America in general is very political.
They thought it was unreleasable. They reworked it. Snow White was reworked. And I didn't realize this. I didn't know how long it was going to go. But Tron Ares is another movie that adheres to the same kind of pattern where it was going to be a male character from the original franchise is gone and the girl boss takes over. And it's all the same pattern that is institutionalized with Disney. They just have all of these leftover films that no one is asking for, that they were in their own bubbles and deluded, that thinking that this is what mainstream audiences want.
In that demographic, maybe, yeah, but in general, that is false. I mean, again, this is what happens when you only watch big blockbuster movies that only interest you. Like, your taste for movies is very specific. You already lose a lot of credibility when you're talking about 2025 being the worst year for movies ever.
But not only do mainstream audiences not want this, but we are years past that even being relevant. Like, these movies feel like they would have come out in maybe 2016, but we're in 2025, almost 2026.
I'm just going to skip a couple seconds because a good chunk of those seconds is just her bickering.
So, yeah, the reason why films are so bad this year,
excluding the more critically acclaimed movies that I didn't watch because it didn't interest me,
is a combination of, one, the strikes, and that's why there's far less films releasing this year. It's been an empty schedule. But also just because of the mindset of the people behind the scenes, whether that is a certain progressive mindset that perhaps Disney tried to double back on and tried to run away from, like in the case of Elio. It was.
Notice how your example is, once again, Disney. Now for the next part of the video, she basically yaps about Elio and its controversies. But I haven't watched it, nor I have anything to say of its controversies, so I'm just going to skip a lot of this.
I think that Disney, when they have these people behind the scenes who have like these progressive themes that they want to put in these movies and such, just taking them out, just gutting the films isn't going to all of a sudden make them better. It might make them a bit less controversial, but when you just take a completed film, whether it would have been good or not, and in this case I just don't think these films would have been good, and just gut them of all their themes, like that you just can't rework these films all of a sudden. You're just going to take away what the intentions of the authors were and just leave these hollow shells behind.
That applies more to Warner Brothers than Disney because, well, there's a bunch of videos out there explaining why.
And I also think AI has some stuff to do with it. I guarantee that Disney especially has been using AI in their projects.
You're not too far off.
But I would say the main cause, apart from the strikes, is just the complete out-of-touchness of the people behind the scenes, and that they just do not have writers and people working on these films with ideas and vision that actually reflects what a lot of people in real life want to see.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Now, is this going to get better next year? Because there's a whole lot more tentpole films next year. And for the remainder of the year. I think that there is going to be more hits next year, potentially, but I still think that there's going to be big bombs. Movies that I think for sure are going to be box office hits next year. I think the Super Mario Galaxy film, I think that for sure, I don't think it's going to be good because of how they want to make the Mario films lack all character development and substance.
Care to elaborate?
But it'll definitely sell at the box office. Going forward for the rest of this year, Wicked for Good and Avatar, I think, will definitely sell. Next year, I think Dune Part 3, as long as it doesn't get moved, that'll definitely sell something. Moana live-action remake, unfortunately, that'll sell.
Girl said unfortunately, as if she's forced to watch it. Which could actually happen because, again, most of her content is basically surrounding Disney, and a lot of it is mostly negative.
So it seems like there are more films next year and the remainder of the year that might actually pick up, but I still think we're going to have a lot of surprise bombs, especially from Disney.
Can you go 1 minute without mentioning Disney for once?
I think that people are going to be just awed at how bad Mandalorian and Grogu as this Disney
Aw, darn.
Plus streaming movie in the theaters, how badly that is going to do. And I think that is going to create such a conversation about what has happened with Star Wars, since it's going to be its first film back in theaters after all of these years. Other films, I think that they are going to be in awe at how poorly Doomsday is going to do, because that is a film that I'm not saying it's going to do as badly as Mandalorian Grogu, but that is the first film from the Avengers that essentially doesn't have the Avengers.
Well, technically that is true, but at the same time, this didn't age well.
With Skyrizi, I saw dramatically clearer skin, and many people were 100% plaque-free. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
And it doesn't have any buildup with the mainstream public. And it's like, when I talk to people in real life, just casuals, like, they checked out of the MCU back and at Endgame. Like, people aren't paying attention or caring about this movie. So while I think that we're allegedly getting a trailer for it with Avatar, I think that that's going to get a lot of discussion. I don't think that this movie is going to do well.
Well, that's certainly a prediction.
So next year, it's like, I think that there are far more films. There's far more films that seem like they're going to be released next year than this year. And I think that there's going to be a lot more hits at the box office. But I think that there's still going to be a lot of surprise failures, because so much of this stuff, like Mandalorian and Grogu and Doomsday, are just carryovers from bad decisions from the old regime keeps making.
Then find out when the film's all released. Even though it's a low chance, but it's still a chance. And again, I am skipping forward here because she basically yaps.
Like, I've been wondering that about the upcoming Zootopia 2, because the original Zootopia was so heavy with political messaging. I'm sure they must have done that with the sequel. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if that's part of the reason why a sequel got greenlit. But then I'm wondering, is this going to be another film where they gutted some of those themes, and we're going to see that in the final film? Because, like, and right now, they're saying pre-sales for Zootopia 2 do not look good.
Ooh, that did not age well.
Which could just be that, you know, family movies have more walk-up business than pre-sales. But, like, it hasn't had a huge rewatch on streaming or anything like that. So that's a big question. So it just seems like there's just a whole lot left in the arsenal of Hollywood. Just so much more sludge that are reflective of different decision making of the past.
He don't got the functioning brain that we got.
That we're still in the era where all that we're watching is sequels and remakes and franchise films, and they still have not fixed the actual problems.
This only applies to mainstream movies or just mainstream franchises in general. Like, if you gave movies like Sinners a chance, most of what you just said there would have been thrown out the window. And that's the most insane thing about this video. A lot of what she's been saying would have been debunked if she just watched more movies, rather than movies that she is more quote-unquote interested in, if people want to take her takes on movies more seriously.
So even though 2025, I'm hoping that it brings a lot more business for theaters, like I said, Super Mario Galaxy, I'm sure will do that. Like, I just don't see an end for this bad quality that is before us.
This wouldn't be a problem if you watch more goddamn movies.
And it's just so obvious to me more than ever how things have changed, where I'm just thinking about how, you know, years ago, you used to get bad movies like Aquaman and Captain Marvel and Venom to sell.
Oh nah, hell nah. We are not slandering my goat Venom right now, are we?
You kind of trick people into seeing a Joker movie.
Trick people into seeing a Joker movie?
Care to elaborate?
Like, it wasn't that long ago that the box office was thriving, and all these decisions have just destroyed it. So, that's just kind of me venting in this video about just how bad it's been this year, and to see how much this has fallen.
You wouldn't been as miserable if you watched more movies. I know it sounds like a broken record, but like, I'm telling you, dude, 50% of this video would have been made if she watched more movies.
But to say anything about the future, though, I still think that it is very important. It's very important to keep up the shared experience of the theater, the shared experience that people lost because of just how bad it's gotten and how bad the quality of these films are, and that they're just not reflecting us.
It's there because you just didn't see it yet. And that alone weakens her credibility of this narrative she's trying to spin.
I still think that it is very important to keep that alive. And I was just so happy to see how many people wrote to me after my video a couple videos ago where I talked about my filmmaking ambitions and what I've done in the past and what my ideas in the past were and what I am doing going forward. And
Skipping a lot of this because I don't really have that much to say.
go forward with that because right now I'm not seeing a huge shift around Hollywood and their quality getting any better. And it seems whenever they make an announcement of like things are going to get better, we don't actually see that. We just see more of the same.
And I think there are a lot of disingenuous people online that just want to hate on the film. They don't want to make it better, right? They want to hate on it.
And so while next year I'm glad that there are more films that might bring it in at the box office and keep theaters alive, I'm just not trusting Hollywood yet. It's like, how long is it going to take you to turn this ship around?
Oh, never.
How long is it going to take you to actually realize what you need to do? And what you need to do is not go to AI. You need to get rid of the idiots who are currently writing your films that are antithetical to what the audience actually wants to see. And you need to get new creatives who can actually make good works and are actually in touch with people.
Or watch more niche films.
I just don't know when Disney is ever going to realize that, and I am just nervous next year.
See what I mean? She keeps on mentioning Disney like Disney is like the only film studio making big blockbuster movies. Or acting like other AAA film studios do not make blockbuster movies. Please watch more movies.
Even as I'm seeing more films that I'm interested and curious about seeing, I mean, Spider-Man Brand New Day, that is definitely going to be a big film at the box office. Supergirl, not so much. But, I just don't know how many more films there are out there that are infected with this sludge.
The shame won't betide him for wanting what society won't let him have. Why must love be such torture? Surely 'tis better to have never known its sting. Sex to me, you. Like, I know that feeling of wanting what's forever out of reach, believe me.
And how many more films we have to get through before we get anything decent.
I think you guys get the idea about what I'm about to say. So because of this, I'm just gonna use video clips that I have in my gallery.
So maybe next year hopefully will be a more mixed bag than this year, but I just wanted to get that off my chest. If you see me just do a negative review after negative review for movies this year, it's because it really has been this bad.
Goodbye, sir. I will not even dignify that argument with a response.
2025 is the worst year for quality I have ever experienced at the movies.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And it just breaks my heart to see how far things have fallen.
Please think before you talk.
We'll see you guys next time through the final stages of this abysmal 2025.
Please watch more movies, Just a Bell.